All right, guys, so this is something a little bit different. I got Dave here. We have been brewing our own beer for a couple weeks now. We're on, this would be batch number what, 6?
Yeah. Wait.
We did an amber, which we're drinking now.
Yes.
It turned out pretty good. We did a cider. It's bottled in conditioning. We did a dunkel, a watermelon wheat, and then summer shandy. So there's 5. This will be our 6th. Yeah. So we're on our 6th brewing, and we are actually going to use Northern Brewer Smashing Pumpkin Ale. That's going to be our 6th beer. So yeah, it's something we tried. We wanted to try to do this. It's something to do when there's not too much else to do in this time of the year. So we figured, why not try something out, see how it works, and go from there. So what we'll do now is we'll hook this propane turkey burner, deep fryer up. Yep. And we'll get moving from here. Blow ourselves up. Yeah. It's been hell of a run. Should be. Nothing yet. All right, we're in. Ah, it went out. We gotta relight. Wait, grab that. There. We got a while to wait till we get to 150 or 160. This is what comes with the kit. You get nightshade grain blend. So that's in the Smashing Pumpkin blend. You get some dried malt extract, Breeze Pilsner Light, cluster hops, 1 ounce. You've got nutmeg, clove, allspice, and cinnamon in the pumpkin spice package. The one thing that we're going to do a little bit different is we're going to actually add pumpkin to it. So we're going to add about 45 ounces of pumpkin with 0 preservative in it. And when you do that, you have to add 2 pounds of this malt. So yeah, super excited to see how this turns out. These 3 things of grain will go inside of this mesh bag, and then this pumpkin will go inside the mesh bag, and we'll mix it up. All of this stuff here doesn't get added until we let that sit at 150 degrees inside of this bag, inside of that hot water, for 1 hour. So it has to stay around 150 to 152 degrees in this bag, in that hot water, for 1 hour before we can keep going by adding dried malt extract, hops, and the spice pack. So after that is all done, what you have at that point is called wort, or it's unfermented beer. That will go into our primary fermenters, which it'll stay in that primary fermenter with an airlock on top for about 1 week. And then we will transfer from there to our secondary fermenter, and that it will sit in the secondary fermenter for 2 weeks. All right, guys, so we put the brewer's mesh bag in here. Basically what I'm doing is creating room to put our grains and our real pumpkin in there. You want to open up the pumpkin. I'll pour this in and mix this up.
Yes, sir.
All right, and now the Nightshade grain blend. That smells different. Come in. Yep. It's 354 right now. Okay. Where's the lid at? Oh, right here. When we pull the grain and all that out, it should drop back down. Well, Dave, we dropped. By how much? We're 4.2 degrees away from where we need to be. Oh. I need a thermometer because once we hit 150, I'll cut it. There you go. I'm gonna go cut. Alright, we're good. Alright guys, so what we got here is we got second pot of water. There's 2.5 gallons of fresh water in here. We're going to do a Ferocious IPA from Northern Brewer. So once we get this up to between 165, 160, 165, we'll steep the grains for 30 minutes. I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll put this Ferocious IPA grain blend inside of this, like almost like a cheesecloth. Tie a knot in it, put the grains inside there, and let it sit for a half hour. Basically make tea. And then after that, we'll get it up to a boil. We'll add the other things that we need to add, and go from there. So yep, we're gonna be brewing 2 batches. We got the pumpkin over here and the Ferocious IPA over here. All right, so here's the plan. We're gonna pull this out, and we're going to use that to squeeze all the pumpkin and all the juices out of it. You gotta take it easy. Yeah, there's liquid coming out on this side. Let's do Ready? Go ahead. So the pumpkin has definitely added a pretty good orange color to that. We have to bring this to a boil. We'll add 3.15 pounds of amber liquid malt extract and 1 pound of dried malt extract to this. We'll boil it for a while. We'll add the hops. Then we'll add another thing of liquid malt extract, and you can see it's boiling, boils pretty quick. All right, guys, so we've added the liquid malt extract, and we've also added the dry malt extract. This particular recipe, Smashing Pumpkin Ale from Northern Brewer, requires us to boil this for 1 hour. With 15 minutes left in the boil, we have to add the remaining 3.15 pounds of liquid malt extract. And when we start the boil here, we have to add the hops. All right, we need to start this bad boy right back up again. Now that we have all this froth in here. Get the boil to a nice low rolling boil once we get there. The beer's going down pretty easy. And the mouths are popping off.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so we're at the half-hour mark for our IPA. So what we'll do is we will pull out the bag of grains that we have steeped for the last half hour, and we will return this to a boil. Once we get it to a boil, we will add about 9 pounds of liquid malt extract to our IPA. Alright guys, so what we're doing right now is mixing in our liquid malt extract nice and slow so it doesn't get burned at the bottom. This recipe, this IPA calls for, I think it's what, 9.13 pounds of liquid malt extract. So we'll return this to a boil. And when we return this to a boil, that's when we'll do our first hop addition, which is a Warrior hop. The bitterness on that one is pretty significant. I think it's like 16.7%, something like that, yeah. So there's 3 hop additions with this one. You have the Warrior hops, which go in first. And then you have to mix the Simcoe and the Amarillo together, and then at different intervals you put 0.5 ounces in at different intervals. I think it's 20, 15, 10, and 5 minutes left in the boil. So these will go together. And then at the very end, and what I mean by the very end is after these have gone through primary fermentation for 1 week, we will do dry hop additions, which means these two right here, I think there's 4 of them, if I'm not mistaken, or 3 of them. There's 3. There's 3 of them that will get added. So an additional 3 ounces of hops will get added to the fermentation after primary fermentation is ended. That's also known as dry hopping the beer. So this is an IPA. It'll be extremely hoppy. So right now we started at about 3 o'clock. It's 6:03. We're about 3 hours and 3 minutes into this. So the alpha on these Warrior hops is 16.7%. So they will be a very bittering hop. And that's kind of what they look like. And they smell amazing. Alright, we're adding the last of the liquid malt extract to the Oktoberfest. And when we terminate the boil in 15 minutes, we will add our spices. And like I said, those spices are cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, and clove. From everything I've heard, this should taste like each beer should taste like a slice of liquid pumpkin pie, so we'll see. Alright guys, so what this is called is a wort chiller. You hook one end up to a hose, you put the other end that doesn't have the hose barb into the yard, and you run cold water from your hose through this. What this does is this cools the beer quickly. So we're going from 212 degrees, we need to get it to about 75 degrees. And then once we get it to 75, we'll pour it into the primary fermenter and pitch the yeast. If you pitch the yeast and the beer is above, we'll say 80 degrees, you can kill the yeast and no fermentation takes place. So wort chiller, very important. One thing that we do is we'll either sanitize it before we put it in, or we'll put it in now while the wort is boiling, and that will sanitize it. So yep, wort chiller, pick it up. It's not that expensive, but it definitely is better than putting this in a sink bath. There we go. So the recipe calls for us to, stop chilling it once it hits 100. We did that last time, but we didn't, after we added the water, we didn't get it to the temperature that we needed to, so we're gonna bring it down just a little bit more. Right now we're at 91, 92.5 degrees. So once we hit 90, we'll take it and move on to the next step. All right, we'll move it down now. Don't think this looks easy, it's not. So what we take now is we take our primary fermentation bucket. That's this one. And I'll have Dave pour the wort inside there. Welcome to the gun show. Make sure you get all the goodness, the bottom. We didn't scorch anything, that's a good thing. Straight in.
That's a plus.
We'll pour a little bit of water in there to get that all out of there. So this is the point where we add exactly 5, probably 2.5, 2 gallons of water in there. That 2.5 right there is perfect. And we'll bring it to exactly 5 gallons. Done with. Really? Wait. Keep going. That's it. Now we'll take a temperature reading and see where we're sitting at. So we're a little bit over. We're at 76 degrees right now.
Okay.
We'll wait a little bit and then pitch the yeast.
Wait.
But we are going to. We have a sanitized. I guess a beaker, a sanitized beaker right now, and we'll take the original gravity after we mix this up. We'll take the gravity and make sure, we'll see where we're at so we can get alcohol content after secondary fermentation before bottling. All right, so we have this here. We're gonna drop the hydrometer and get a reading. We are at 1.062. You guys are trying to do this at home. It's a good thing to write that down because you'll be doing another gravity reading to get the exact alcohol content to this. So if you think that you're gonna remember it, you're not gonna remember that. So it's a good thing if you do pick up the brew kit, this comes with it. It's your best friend. You gotta write. We have so much information down on in this already between the brews that we already did. So definitely write that information down. The first one we did, we really weren't that crazy about it. And then ever since then, we've been pretty serious about that. Yep. This is really the first crack we'll have at it. Obviously, this is unfermented, but we're going to give it a shot anyway, so. That's pretty good. You can taste the spice. Yeah. Oh, wait till it ferments. Yeah, it's gonna be good. That's gonna be real good. So you do not pour this back into that mix. You leave this. We'll dump this out Everything is sanitized before it goes into there, so you don't want to reintroduce anything, especially any kind of like bacteria from the mouth. So the rest of this will get dumped. It's just half a beer that you're going to lose. So. So you take this stir after it's been in the sanitation bucket, mix that up a little bit, aerate it up a little bit, and now we'll put the lid on in the primary, or in the, and we'll put the airlock on. Yeah, use that water that's in there already. I guess that means it's on. Whoa. Okay, all right, that's our pumpkin batch. All right, guys, so we just finished our Ferocious IPA. We're gonna take a test now and record specific gravity. All right. Give me a. That's an IPA. Yeah. Wow. Alright guys, so thanks for following along today. We finished brewing both of our batches of beer. We did a Smashing Pumpkin Ale from Northern Brewer, and we did the Northern Brewer Ferocious IPA. It is 7:30 right now. We started at 3 o'clock, so about 4.5 hours to do both batches. And yep, so in 1 week from today, we'll transfer from the primary fermenter into the secondary. And then 2 weeks from that date, we will be bottling. And then we have to condition for 2 weeks. So thanks for following along, guys. Appreciate it. And yeah, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, drop a comment below. Love getting back to you on that. And yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.